Hello, my dear students. Today let us discuss about the topic biochemistry of vision. Visual perception in humans occurs through absorption of electromagnetic radiation from 400 to 780 nanometer by photoreceptors in the retina. A photon of visible light carries a sufficient amount of energy to cause, when absorbed, a cis-trans geometric isomerization of the 11-cis retinal chromophore, a vitamin A derivative bound to rhodopsin and conopsins of retinal photoreceptors. The unique biochemistry of these complexes allows us to reliably and reproducibly collect continuous visual information about our environment. Moreover, other non-conventional retinal opsins such as the circadian rhythm regulator melanopsin also initiate light-activated signaling based on similar photochemistry. The human eye is optically equivalent to photographic camera. It has a lens, a variable structure, the pupil, and the retina that corresponds to the film. The eyeball is composed of the three layers: the outermost fibrous layer consisting of sclera and cornea, the middle vascular layer also called uvea consisting of choroid, ciliary body and iris or uvea, and the innermost layer consisting of retina. The sclera is an opaque fibroelastic collagen capsule that forms the outermost covering. It forms the fifth to sixth part of the eyeball. The cornea is also a thin transparent front part of sclera. Conjunctiva is a thin transparent layer present over the cornea and is continuous with the skin over the eye. In the middle vascular cord, choroid is a pigmented layer beneath the sclera. It contains blood vessels. The ciliary body extends towards the inside of the eye from the choroid cord. The iris is the most anterior part of uvea. It forms a pigmented circle of muscular diaphragm attached to the ciliary body in front of the lens. The innermost layer, the retina, is delicate, non-vascular, light, sensitive cord of the eyeball. Structure of eyes. Human eyes are spherical structure present in the bony sockets of the skull. Each eye is about 2.5 cm in diameter and consists of tissues present in three concentric layers. Types of layers. The eyeball consists of three layers. Number 1, outermost fibrous layer, sclera and cornea. Number 2, middle vascular layer, choroid, ciliary body and iris. Number 3, innermost layer, retina. Number 1, outermost fibrous layer, sclera and cornea. The outer layer, known as the fibrous tunic, is complete and consists of cornea and sclera. The oneness and continuity of the sclera and cornea are, however, more apparent than real. The sclera is a product of a mesodermal envelope that encases the embryonic eyes, whereas the cornea is essentially an area of the skin of the head and thus has both ectodermal and mesodermal components. In the adult, this head skin is doubled back on itself to form the underlying of the eyelids, and its epidermal component continues over the cornea as the conjunctiva. Middle layer. The middle layer is bluish in color, hence the name uvea. It contains numerous blood vessels and is divided into three regions, namely the vascular pigmented choroid layer, which is closely adherent to the sclera, the ciliary body, which is relatively thickened, muscular part of uvea at the level of transition between the sclera and the cornea, and the iris. Next comes innermost layer. The innermost layer or the retina abuts the entire extent of the uvea. The part of it contact with the choroid in contact layer is fairly thick and is the region sensitive to light. The remainder is thin and non-sensory and contributes to the ciliary body and iris. The retina consists of the following layers. Number 1, outer pigmented layer. It lies against the choroid coat. Number 2, sensory layer. It consists of a layer of photoreceptors having long and narrow rods and shorter, thicker cones, a layer of bipolar neurons, and a layer of ganglion cells. Major cell types of the retina. Number 1, rod photoreceptor cells are specialized for reception in dim light. Number 2, cone photoreceptor cells are specialized for sensing bright light and for color vision. There are different cone cell types for each of the three primary colors. Number 3, horizontal cells interconnect groups of photoreceptor cells. Number 4, bipolar cells interconnect photoreceptor cells with ganglion cells. Number 5, amacrine cells interconnect groups of ganglion cells and bipolar cells. They are unusual neurons because they have no true axon. Number 6, ganglion cells possess long axons that extend through the nerve fiber layer of the retina and then come together to form the optic nerve. They are the only cell type in the retina possessing long axon and exhibiting cell-propagated axon potentials. Number 7, Muller cells are large glial-like cells that extend from the internal limiting membrane to the external limiting membrane. The glial cells are very rich in glycogen. Next comes histological layers of retina. Number 1, retinal pigment epithelium contains pigmented cells with phagocytic properties and ion transport properties. The retinal pigment epithelium also functions in regeneration of bleached retina and is also the storage site of vitamin A. Number 2, layer of rods and cones contains the inner and outer segments of the rod and cone photoreceptor cells. Number 3, external limiting membrane is defined by a series of junctional complexes between Muller cells and rod and cone photoreceptor cells. Number 4, outer nuclear layer contains the cell bodies and nuclei of rods and cones. Number 5, outer plexiform layer contains synapses of the processes of rods and cones with dendrites of bipolar cells. Processes of horizontal cells also take part in the formation of these synapses. Number 6, inner nuclear layer contains cell bodies and nuclei of bipolar cells, amacrine cells, and horizontal cells. Number 7. Internal plexiform layer consisting of synapsing nerve fibers of bipolar neurons, ganglion cells, and amacrine cells. Number 8. Ganglion cell layer containing the cell bodies of ganglion cells. Number 9. Nerve fiber layer consisting of the axons of ganglion cells along with blood vessels. Number 10. Inner limiting membrane is a basement membrane for the Muller cells. Next comes rod cells. Rod cells contain a purplish pigment called visual purple or rhodopsin. Rhodopsin has two components, scotopsin, a protein moiety, and allobensis retinal, a carotene derivative. When both of these combine, they create the conjugated rhodopsin molecule. They function in dim light and at night. They produce poorly defined images. Rhodopsin undergoes a cyclic decomposition called bleaching and reconstitution in response to the presence of light. This cycle is the basis for the absorption of light and its transduction into the nervous signal. In the dark, the rhodopsin is resynthesized from the scotopsin and retinal. This process is called dark adaptation. It makes the rod functional. Next comes cone cells. It contains a pigment called visual violet or iodopsin. They function in daylight and artificial bright light and produce detailed images and give color vision. The cone cells are not as sensitive as the rod cells and do not respond to dim light. This is why we cannot see colors clearly at night. The cone cells give color vision because they contain three pigments, each absorbing light of different wavelengths. One pigment, erythrolap, is sensitive to red light, another chlorolap to green, and the third cyanolap to blue. Next comes lens. In the interior of the eye, just behind the iris lies the lens. The lens is clear and glassy in appearance and biconvex in form with refractive index of 1.42. The lens is held in place by a suspensory ligament or zonule composed of fibers radiating from the ciliary body. The lens system of the eye is composed of four refractive interfaces. Number 1, the interfaces between ear and the anterior surface of the cornea. Number 2, the interfaces between the posterior surface of the cornea and the aqueous humor. Number 3, the interfaces between the aqueous humor and the anterior surface of the crystalline lens of the eye. And number 4, the interfaces between the posterior surface of the lens and the vitreous humor. Next comes photopigments and the photochemistry of vision or biochemistry of vision. The photopigment of rods is called visual purple or rhodopsin. This is a compound composed of a colorless protein opsin and a yellowish carotenoid, retinaldehyde or retinine, a vitamin A derivative. The photopigment of cones is known as visual violet or iodopsin. Rhodopsin is bleached by light via intermediaries, but rhodopsin, lumirhodopsin, and metarhodopsin into all transretinal and scotopsin. The conversion of all transretinal into 11 cis-retinal requires metabolic energy and is catalyzed by the enzymes retinal isomerase. Once the 11 cis-retinal is formed, it automatically recombines with the scotopsin to reform rhodopsin. There is a second chemical process by which all trans-retinal may be converted into 11 cis-retinal. This is by conversion of all trans-retinal, a form of vitamin A. The latter is then converted into 11 cis-retinol under the influence of the enzyme isomerase. Finally, 11 cis-retinol is converted into 11 cis-retinal, which combines with scotopsin, opsin of rhodopsin to form new rhodopsin. In this cycle, it is the meta-rhodopsin 2, it also called activated rhodopsin, that excites electrical changes in the rods, which then transmit the visual image into the central nervous system. The resynthesis of rhodopsin following its breakdown by a light stimulus is responsible for the phenomenon of dark adaptation. The importance of vitamin A in the resynthesis and formation of rhodopsin explains how vitamin A deficiency causes night blindness. The light rays focus on the retina generate potential impulse in rod and cones. Light splits photosensitive pigment rhodopsin, visual purple, into retinine and opsin protein, resulting in changes in the three-dimensional structure of the opsin. The chain structure of opsin leads to activation of a regulatory protein called transducin. The activated transducin activates an enzyme called photodiesterase. Activated photodiesterase converts cyclic guanosine monophosphate, which does not bind to sodium ion channels. The influx of sodium ions into the outer segment of rod cell occurs mainly because of cyclic GMP present in the cytoplasm of the cell. The sodium influx maintains a slight depolarization up to 40 microvolt. The potential is constant and it is also called the dark current. Because of the conversion of the cGMP to 5-GMP, the concentration of cGMP is reduced in the rod cell. It is due to light, which leads to rapid decrease in cGMP levels in the photoreceptor cells, which results in the closure of the sodium ion channels. The sudden closure of sodium channels prevents the entry of sodium ions. As a result, the photoreceptor cells become hyperpolarized. The hyperpolarization of the cell membrane produces a signal that generates action potentials or impulses in the ganglion cells. Next comes working of the eye. The human eye is sensitive to light wavelengths ranging from 380 to 760 nanometers. It has two functional parts. Number 1, focusing part. Number 2, receptor part. Number 1, focusing part. It consists of conjunctiva, cornea, aqueous humor, lens, and vitreous humor. These parts are transparent and act as lenses. They refract the light rays passing through the eye to bring them to a focus on the retina. Maximum refraction is caused by the cornea, which places the image approximately on the retina. The lens effects fine adjustment and brings the image into a sharp focus. Number 2, receptor part. It comprises the retina. The image formed on the retina is inverted and smaller. It converts the energy of specific wavelengths of light into action potentials, sensory impulses of nerve fibers. The nerve impulses are carried by the optic nerve to the visual areas of cerebral hemisphere, where the real sensation of sight arises and one sees the object upright. Next comes accommodation. The adjustment of the eye to enable it to focus on objects at various distances is called accommodation. The human eyes have remarkable power of accommodation by changing the convexity of the lens. By the action of iris muscles, the size of the pupil can be increased or decreased. In the bright light, the pupil is constricted. In dim light, it is dilated. Due to the action of the muscles of the ciliary body and the suspensory ligaments, the focal length of the lens can be changed. Then, the objects can be focused in different intensity of light from varying distances. Conclusion. From the above discussion, it is concluded that the mechanism of vision can be compared with the mechanism of simple camera. The light rays passing through the cornea are focused on the retina. This generates action potential in the rods and cones. The penetrating light induces dissociation of the retinal and opsin, resulting in a change in opsin. This causes potential differences in the photoreceptor cells that in turn produces a signal to generate an action potential in the photosensitive cells. This action potential is transmitted by the optic nerves to the visual cortex area of the brain. Here, the neural impulses are analyzed and the image formed on the retina is recognized. These are some of the important points relating to the biochemistry of vision. Thank you.